Happy Sabbath, ladies and gentlemen. This week I want to talk about our Torah portion briefly and shortly, just explain a little bit that I found interesting. Now, this week's Torah portion is Lech-Lecha. Lech-Lecha has multiple meanings. It means to go, get going, or to go step by step. The first one I want to look at is the meaning to go step by step. It's very important because we need to go step by step into every single Torah portion we read every single Sabbath. It's very important that we read these Torah portions every single Sabbath because it's not just a book of historical context of our history. It's also very spiritual, and every single thing can be applied in a spiritual level and understood in a way that we could apply it to our lives today spiritually. Like I said, Lech-Lecha also means get going, and this week God tells our soul to go, just like he tells Abraham to go and leave his home, land, and state. Now, in Kabbalah, there are 4 worlds that a person goes through. The 4th world is the physical land that we are living in now, and just like Abraham had to go onto different lands, God instructs our soul to go to do the same. Throughout the Bible, starting with Abraham, we will see how God commands his people to go to the promised lands. Now, starting with Israel, and then Yuga, which is Jerusalem, and you would think it ended there, right? This is the holiest of holiest lands. However, that is not true. From there, they have to enter the spiritual Jerusalem, the golden Jerusalem, heaven, which is in the sky. These journeys that Israel had to go through in each different land spiritually shows that we need to grow with the Word of God to make it further and further until we get to heaven. How we do so was actually explained in the previous Torah portion. Now, the previous Torah portion, Noah, one of the main ideas we could take away from it to understand how to get closer in God into the promised land and then to heaven was the meaning of the ark. Now, the ark in the Torah portion, Noah, is the Word of God. And the flood is all of the obstacles, everything we go through, both the war that we go through physically and spiritually. And we need to enter the ark, enter the Word of God with our family to be saved. That's the only way we are saved from all these obstacles, tribulations, and everything we're going on. So the only way that we grow and we could get to that promised land is through the Word of God. Word of God. We need to live in it. We need to live by it and go with it step by step, just like this Torah portion instance, step by step into these different lands, in a spiritual concept, as we grow spiritually and get closer and closer to God, we are going through these different lands, going through these different phases. And just like Abraham did, and all of Israel after it, we have to do the same in a spiritual understanding to get everlasting life in the sky, heaven. So that's all I have. A little short word just to say for this week. I thought it was an interesting concept to explain.